Hey guys, Angelica here. Welcome back to my channel. Today you can't really see, but it's actually super rainy and gloomy outside. And so days like that make me just want to put on a cozy sweater and drink some coffee and kind of just chill. So for today's video, I'm just going to sit down and chat with you guys a little bit. I've had a lot of you ask to tell a little bit more about my story of when and how Grayson and I got engaged. How did my family react because we got married so young, and kind of why we got married so young. So I'm just going to chat a little bit about that today to kind of just let you guys learn a little bit more about my life and how our relationship, Grayson and I, how it all started. So like I said, I have this cozy sweater on and I have my cup of coffee, and I just want to start off by saying that tell me this is not the cutest little mug ever. Okay, so if you guys don't know, I am obsessed with collecting mugs. And so my husband, he actually got me this mug for our 1-year anniversary. It says best wife ever, and it's just so cute. Anyway. So in one of my older videos, Grayson and I actually sat down together to kind of talk about a little bit about how we met and if we believed there was such thing as the one. And so I'm not going to go like full into detail about how we met because I kind of already did that in my previous video, but I did want to share with you guys like how the whole engagement process went as far as like where and how we got engaged. And I'll actually insert a clip into this video of like actual footage of like when he proposed. So here's how the proposal went down. Grayson had come down to Florida to visit my family and ask for my parents' blessing in marriage. And once he got that blessing, he was going to fly back to Arkansas. And then a week or two later, I believe we were going to meet up in Colorado to do our secondary school. And that's when he was planning to propose. However, what ended up happening was while we were here in Florida, there was a hurricane that was about to hit. And so just for safety reasons, we flew out and we went to Arkansas. And so he ended up proposing to me in Arkansas. And how it went down was basically because we were about to go leave to a different state for a few months, he wanted to have one last hangout with his friends. That's what he told me, was that he wanted to go hang out with his friends one last time before he went and did another school, kind of like a quick goodbye. And I was like, okay, like what are you gonna go do? And he was like, I think we should go hiking. And so it feels totally normal. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go hiking, we're gonna go have a good time, say bye to his friends, and then head off to our secondary school. And so when we go hiking, all of his friends have cameras. And you'd think that, like, I'd think something's going on because they all have cameras. But actually, I had no clue, because if you guys, like, were to get to know his friends, a lot of his friends are actually into photography. So they carry cameras with them around, like, on a daily regardless. So I had, like, it didn't make me suspicious at all. And so then we like make it to the top and we're hanging out for a while, and then he's like, hey, do you want to like go over to the edge of the cliff with me? And I was like, no, like I really don't, because I don't like heights. So he finally convinced me and we made it to the edge of the cliff, and we kind of just talk a little bit about life and what we were looking forward to with this new school and just what we were excited for in this next season. And then next thing you know, he gets down on one knee, and here is the video clip to show you guys what happened next.
Stop it!
When Grayson proposed to me and he got down on one knee and asked me if I wanted to marry him, I thought that I was processing in my head, but I actually verbally said no. And I wasn't saying no to like, no, I'm not going to marry you, but more like, no, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. So I kept saying no, no, no. And then I was like, oh my goodness, like, wait a second. Like, he probably thinks I'm saying no. And then I was like, wait, like, yes, I'll marry you. So we ended up getting engaged, and then we went to grab some snow cones and kind of hung out for a while. And then we drive back to his family's house, and there's like a ton of cars. And I'm telling Grayson, like, why in the world is there so many cars? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, you're totally lying. And we walk inside, and it's his entire family and friends. And there's like sparkling cider and balloons, and everyone's like, congratulations. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening. I was not expecting this. But that's basically how our proposal went down. And then from there, we spent like 2 more days in Arkansas, and then we flew to Colorado to do our secondary school. But to kind of now share how both his family and my family reacted to us getting married so young, to kind of give a little bit more of like a backstory, what happened was, so Grayson, picked a day to propose to me, but before he did that, he did talk to his family and my family to like get their blessing before he even went about proposing. So we sat down with Grayson's family sometime in August, so about a month before we got engaged. And we sat them down and we told them like what marriage meant to us, where we saw this going, why we were confident that this is something we wanted to do. And they asked us lots of questions because they just wanted to make sure that this was the right thing. And they took time to pray on it and everything. But once they were set on like, yes, we give you our blessing, they were all about like, when are you gonna get married, And then my family, however, so the way that they reacted was very different, just because my family obviously wasn't expecting me to get married so fast, especially because Grayson was my first boyfriend. So they were like, what in the world is happening? Like, this is all happening too fast. But just like Grayson's parents, we sat my parents down. We went out to eat at Outback, and he asked them in Spanish, which I thought was really sweet because my parents understand English, but their first language is Spanish. So Grayson doesn't know any Spanish, but he learned this like one little phrase, which basically meant, I love your daughter. I want to spend the rest of my life with her, and can I marry her? And they started crying. They were like bawling their eyes out, and they were like, are you sure? Like, don't you think this is a little too fast? Like, don't you want to I don't know, maybe have another boyfriend first, or like grow and experience a little more in life? And so we got their blessing, but they gave us their blessing, but I don't think they expected us to get married like a month after having gotten their blessing. I think they expected us to like wait a little bit before he proposed, but that didn't happen. So overall, they both reacted like the way we expected. My parents were more shocked than Grayson's family was on how fast we got engaged. The last thing I will say is that I don't regret getting married young. I oftentimes get people who ask if I regretted getting married so young because I have so much of life left to experience, or so much about myself that's still changing and growing. And although it's true, because obviously Grayson and I are still young, so we have a lot of life to experience, and we still have a lot of things that we're growing in and changing and learning about each other and about ourselves. The only thing I'm going to do my best to explain this, and if you don't fully get it, I'm really sorry. I might have to end up doing a whole nother video on this because I already feel very tongue twisted. But basically, the point I want to get across is like, as a person, you're always going to be growing and you're always going to be experiencing things. And so I don't quite understand why people have this idea that you can't grow as a person or you can't experience things in life if all of a sudden you get married. Because for one, if you're getting married and you're choosing to commit yourself to someone, like, I married Grayson because I loved him and because I knew that we could do a lot more together than we could do apart. And like, I didn't want to have to tell him about life's experiences. I wanted to be able to experience them with him. And so like, I know that we're both Grayson and I are growing as people. We're both learning things and we're both experiencing things, but it's so much better to do it with someone than it is to do it alone. And Another thing is oftentimes people say that, you know, like now you're going to grow up to be someone completely different if you're married, because now you're growing the way they want you to grow as opposed to how you would have grown if you would have grown alone. Guys, I really hope this is making sense. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I trust Grayson enough to lead me in a way and challenge me in a way. Like, I believe that his heart for me is to grow to be a better person. And so I don't have this fear that like I'm losing myself or I'm not becoming who I was meant to be, because I know that he's actually helping me and pushing me to be the best me, if that makes sense. So basically what I'm trying to get at is that like I don't regret getting married young, and I feel like just as you can experience and grow as a person when you're single, you can still totally do that when you're married. So regardless of how old you are when you get married, I really don't feel like that should influence how you become as a person. If anything, it should make you better. So that being said, I hope that that kind of made sense. If it didn't, and if you guys need more clarification, like by all means let me know down below and I will definitely comment back, or if I have to, I'll make a whole nother video on it. But overall, I hope that you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little bit more about how Grayson proposed and how my family reacted, and then just overall like what it's been like being married. So yeah, if you guys like videos like this, make sure and give this video a thumbs up. I do post a video every Friday, so make sure and subscribe if you haven't already. And I shared in my previous video that I'd like to be able to share a little bit more content with you guys throughout the week. So another thing that I would love to hear is what day of the week you'd like me to post another video. I'll definitely see what works best and go from there. And yeah, that's about all I have for you. So I'm going to continue enjoying my coffee in my cute little mug, and I hope that you guys have a great weekend and a great start to the next week. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.